Hello, my name is Andrew Legg, and this is my speech on wild salmon runs. Here in the Pacific Northwest, one of our most prized resources is our wild salmon runs. Since the early 1940s, these runs have been on the decline. Some of our rivers and tributaries have even been put on the endangered species list. Today, I'm going to describe two of the factors that are leading to these declines. First, the dams on these rivers that are preventing our fish from getting from their spawning grounds to the ocean, and secondly, the loss and damage to their habitat. If something isn't done soon, these fish will be gone forever. Currently, there are 12 dams on the Columbia and Snake River. Several of the tributaries that lead into the Columbia River also have dams on them. These dams make it very difficult for the smolt or juvenile fish to make it to the ocean. Most often, these fish are caught up in the turbines and chopped to bits. Power companies have now realized this and have built nets above their dams to catch these 6 to 12-inch fish. Once these fish are caught, they transport them below the dam so that they may continue their way to the ocean safely. Once these fish do reach the ocean, they spend 2 to 4 years gaining 13 to 40 pounds. Once they have matured and gained this weight, they then return to the rivers to spawn. Unfortunately, once they return to these rivers to spawn, their same big concrete structures are in the way. Power companies have now built salmon ladders for these fish to safely bypass these dams. Unfortunately, on some of the smaller tributaries that have dams on them, they are not equipped with salmon ladders and drastically reduce the spawning grounds and the numbers of these fish. Some fish may never even find their way back to their home waters. In 2009, the state of Washington removed the dam on the White Salmon River. The neighboring state of Oregon followed suit in 2012 by removing the dam on the Sandy River. This opened up several new miles for spawning ground for these fish. It is not yet determined what exactly the outcome of these dam removals have been, but when you consider only 12 to 15% of these fish make it to the ocean, every little bit counts. The next area of concern is these fish's habitat where they spawn. With the expansion of urban sprawl, many rivers have been damaged. Riverfront property owners love their property. They want to see their views in the river. Therefore, they cut down the bushes and shrubs and trees that line the shoreline. This damages the fish in two ways. First, the salmon eggs need cool, clear water to mature properly. With this shade removed, the summer sun is able to warm these waters to uncomfortable temperatures. Once these eggs do hatch, though, they hatch in a 1-inch long fry that need to survive in these waters for around 8 months. They use this shade for protection to hide from predators such as other fish, mink, and otters. Without this, their numbers are susceptible and will drop. Conservation groups have even started building artificial and natural covers for these fish to survive for the 8 months they need to. Another area of concern is clear-cut logging. Before logging regulations, logging companies would log all the way down to creek and river shorelines. Again, same problem, lack of shade and warmer waters. But the real problem now is the lack of vegetation and ground stabilization. With a lack of vegetation, when the rains come, the silts on the hillside easily go into the water. Once these silts are in the water, they fill up the good gravel with mud and make it very difficult for our salmon to make their nests. If this were to occur while the salmon's eggs are incubating, the mud would cover the salmon's eggs and oxygen would cease to get to these eggs, meaning these eggs would die. The Forest Service has realized this and changed their ways. Now, in national parks, all mining operations have to be a 200-yard buffer away from all waterways. On public lands, this isn't always followed, but most logging companies are realizing the dangers and are doing the best they can to fix them. Here in the Pacific Northwest, we have clean, low-cost energy from these dams. Several businesses have even located to this area. In the summer months, depending on the condition, 15 to 25% of Bonneville's dam's energy is transferred to the Midwest and California because they can simply not generate enough power. This is not only a local concern, but a national concern. Our dam operators are doing the best they can to prevent the effects they have on these salmon runs. But if these salmon runs numbers drop, the federal government will have to get involved, and a dam removal will have to be an option if not necessary. We need to show the public what they can do to improve these conditions. We also need to decide if we want to lose our most prized resource or maybe give up a few things that we've gotten used to. Thank you.